Hello folks, it is I Have Fun 0235 and today we will be revisiting an older version of World Conqueror 4. This version was from around the time Warzone was first added and you can already see the difference in the menu. The settings tab was where the events tab is now and the language and announcement tabs have different icons. The cloud save does not work because the challenge levels I saved on do not even exist. Looking at the scenario tab you will notice that there is no elite pass as this was a simpler time. Scenario levels did not have challenge modes either. The tutorial levels did not give Schmid, Hubert, Helfrich or Wainwright either because they did not exist. This was back when Messi was still the go-to general for new players. Anyway, looking at Warzone there is the old portrait for list. Here is the old achievements tab, where there were no elite forces clogging up the screen. Oh, a list invasion. A Sokolovsky 1-2. Look at these old portraits. Here is the old guide for the game, which was where the events tab is now. The guide used to just be a paragraph of words with no sub-tabs or pictures. Here is old Paulus vibing in Frontier. Back when there were only a few good generals in the game. This used to be the Meta build for Rommel before the inspiration skill and Rommel's biography was added to the game. Speaking of generals, here was my old HQ. There were less slots for generals back then, considering there were less generals that were actually purchasable. Back when ribbons were first added there were no brown speed ribbons, which meant we did not need to get poop ribbons every so often instead of the more useful ones. Here were the old tech trees. Missiles had quite a small one compared to now. Back before elite forces were added, the tab was occupied by legions, which were the units you bought to spawn in invasions and exercises in the domination tab. Now, they have been moved to the top right of domination tab as a small button and renamed to troops instead of their formerly cool name. Anyway, back then you were also not able to change the skills of the three original in-app purchase generals, Eisenhower, Zhukov and Manstein, making them worse than the best free-to-play generals. Eisenhower is still bad though. Not that there were many complaints about the IAPs though, as there were a limited number of good generals. The generals list was extremely empty compared to present times. There were no orange generals either, with what you saw being what you got. There were less trainable skills back then too, with dominance, inferior victory, fighting spirit, fortification, night raid and inspiration not existing. Finally, we shall look at conquest. Challenge conquest quite literally does not exist, and so there is no button at the bottom of the screen. Looking at the map, there are some generals with the old portraits. Not going to lie, I prefer some of the old ones more than the current ones, like that of Spruance and Voronov. And with that I shall conclude the tour of the old World Conqueror 4. This was a throwback to a simpler time, and while I appreciate the new content added to the game, I quite miss the past. Thank you for watching this video and make sure to hit the subscribe button. Do comment if you remember the old days of this game. I would like to hear your input. Good day to you, and remember to have fun.